Oh, we're going. Okay.
Oh
Welcome
yeah,
back
it's
to
been
the Obvious
recording.
Choice. Welcome back to the Obvious Choice podcast. I'm here as always with Ren, with Amber. Today we're talking about referrals. I felt like it is a topic that deserved us to do justice to because this is the one place where inarguably it's the best way to get clients, and not just the best way to get clients, but the best way to get the best clients that don't question you on price. And that also, when somebody comes in via a referral, it's natural for them to refer others. And so it creates this sort of business flywheel. But so much of the advice that I see for referrals is so bad. And it's because of one fundamental problem, which is that people tend to view and give advice on referrals as an economic transaction. And it's not, it's a social transaction. Because as an economic transaction, when you actually think of a referral, it's a really shit deal for the customer. Like your client sending you a really valuable customer and you're giving them what, like a gift card for $100. It's everybody knows that's a bad deal from an economic standpoint. And so if you speak about it in economic terms, I'm not saying that it never works, but it doesn't work well. And so check in with yourself as you're listening to this episode. I don't think that anybody could justifiably argue with me at the importance of referrals, but like, how much time have you actually spent implementing a referral system that has worked, and how many actual referrals have you gotten? And there's a reason for it. The best businesses get fed via referrals, and new customers are the cherry on top over time. Businesses cannot grow sustainably over time without a really healthy referral system. It just doesn't work. And that could be word of mouth. It could come up to luck. Like you might just be able to do such a great job that people want to shout off the rooftops. But there's a lot of things that you can do as well. And so there's basically four sources of referrals. And I'm going to talk about each one in this. And I'm going to give you an example of somebody who's done a great job with each one so you can kind of see how it comes into play. The first is referrals via complementary businesses. The second is referrals via existing customers. The third is local community. So basically other people who like work close to you. And local community could be local in a physical sense, like people who live close to you, but it could also be local in a metaphorical sense, like just people who are local or surrounding you in some way online because of the communities that you exist within. And then the other one is referrals via, call it associations or trusted affiliations. And you'll see what I mean when we get into that near the end. And like I said, I'm going to give you some examples of that. I at first thought, like, why is so much of the advice about referrals so bad? And I think it comes down to the problem of short form content. I think a lot of the reason why there is advice that leads people astray is because most of the content that we consume is very short form. And so for some topics, that's fine. Like there are some things that you can build very, very handy frameworks on very, very quickly because the actual topic matter lends itself well to that. And then there's other things that you can't. Referrals, I don't think you can, because anything that's a psychological problem or anything that's a social problem fundamentally takes a little bit more nuance and time to kind of understand and think through the problem versus a pure economic transaction. And so referrals are often spoken about as an economic transaction for no other reason than it is very quick to speak about an economic transaction. Hey, how do I get more referrals? Oh, you should give a gift card, or you should give clothing to somebody, send us a customer and we'll give you a t-shirt. And I'm not saying that that doesn't work. And especially if you can create some sort of like a fan base around yourself and the shirts or the hats or whatever you're giving away means something. Maybe. But I don't know. I mean, again, check in with yourself. Like if you've been doing this, does it work? The answer is no, unequivocally. And so economic rewards for referrals are very nice ways to reactively appreciate a behavior. They are not an effective way to proactively create that desired behavior. And so there's a big difference. I'm not saying don't do it. You can do it as a way to appreciate behavior after it's already happened.
Yeah.
But it's not a good way to
Don't do it.
make that behavior happen in the first place. And as you'll see, even with gift codes, there's actually just like a better way to do it, to turn it into a social transaction. I kind of sprung this topic on you guys because I'm going through like the final edits of the book. I'm submitting the final thing, like the manuscript, this week. So I was going through the section. I was like, I really feel like we need to do this justice. So what did you think when I brought this up? I mean, I feel like you probably knew where I was going to go with it, but what were your kind of first thoughts?
Well, I love it because, as far as I'm concerned, it's been a big referral conspiracy. And we all know it's funded by the National Association of Gift Cards and Registries. And they've been pumping money into this thing, trying to convince people that you need to give gift cards away to get referrals. And frankly, John, I'm tired of the bias.
It's a damn good business. Have you ever seen the
Conspiratorial
numbers?
nature.
You ever seen the numbers of how much money is estimated to be on lost Starbucks gift codes?
No,
it's like hundreds of millions of dollars. People are literally like, I don't even need your overpriced, bad tasting coffee. I'm going to just give you this money. You don't even need to give me anything in return.
Gift cards, I mean, and I won't expand, but gift cards cheapen every relationship. I mean, can I be frank here? Like, I feel dirty when I get a gift card. I feel like my reputation has been sullied by receipt.
It's the pizza
Here's a
party
gift card.
after beating quarterly goals at work, right? Like it's the hey, you did a great job. Here's a pizza party, and everyone's allowed 2 slices. Like
it's a widget reward. You made the most widgets this month. Here's a gift card. I hate it.
Yeah. Here's a small and largely inconsequential thank you note that is completely meaningless to you, that doesn't show that I know you or understand you in any way, shape, or form, but it makes me feel better about myself by giving you this. I know.
Yeah, that's so funny. I was zoning off in line and saw an Arby's card and thought of you. Have some meat on us.
Some meat on a sandwich that you'd never otherwise buy, but now you're forced to buy. And not only are you forced to buy, in order to use up the total value of this gift card, you're going to have to spend over the amount, which means you're going to have to spend more money on this meat that you don't want.
Better get some fries, buddy.
I guess what we're saying is, fuck the gift card giving polyamorous vegan jiu-jitsu athletes from Southern California.
Absolutely. You blow. You guys suck and you blow. Good chat so far, John. So, I'm feeling enlightened.
Okay, so the 4 people that you're going to get referrals from. And I'm going to give you examples of all 4. And as you're listening through these, I want you to think through like which one is the best opportunity for you, not what are just like good opportunities. Because you could probably only do one, and you really only need one to explode a business. And so I'm going to give you all 4, but don't think that you need to do all 4. Right. So just a reminder, the 4 are complementary businesses, existing customers, local community, or associations or like trusted affiliations. So the first one is complementary businesses. There's so much talk I mean, it's funny, like, can we talk about Facebook groups and how bad the advice is in Facebook groups and how you should never? It's like, why don't you ask a group of people who you have no idea how well they're actually doing in their job, or if they know anything about the subject for advice, and have them all give you different types of advice with absolutely no context? Just don't ask Facebook groups for advice ever, basically, if you work in the fitness industry, because groups of personal trainers are largely just groups of people who just are not doing that well in their career. And so oftentimes what happens is you get somebody who's like, hey, what are you guys doing to get clients? I don't have clients. And the advice is like, oh, go speak to like make a deal with like a physiotherapist. It's like, okay. So I just knock on their door and I say, hello. My name is John. Nice to meet you, Mr. Doctor, whatever, of physiotherapy. I would like you to send me your patients to get them stronger. Will you do that? Yeah? Great. There's something kind of missing there. And so there's 3 rules and this is not just fitness and health, but there's 3 rules whenever you want to call it network or get referrals from complementary businesses that you need to abide by. The first is give before you get. The second is make it easy. And the third is make it compelling for their customers.
It's number 2 for me, John. Gosh, make it easy. Jesus, please. Please
Make
stop
it easy
sending
for
me.
them.
Please stop sending me forms to fill out for your podcast. I'd love to be on your podcast. I'll talk ad nauseum. But please stop sending me like 30-point bulletin forms that's not helpful. I'm tired and I'm old. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
Size 9 font. I can't read this. And so
what font did you pick? I don't have my readers.
Is this a serif font? No, I only can read sans serif fonts. But so let me give you an example. And I think as I'm giving you this example, you will see that all 3 of these rules are met, right? Give before you get, make it easy, make it compelling. And so I say make it easy for the other practitioner, the other business, and then make it compelling for their customers. So there was a gym called Bodies by Design, and it was a local gym, right? A little local studio. It's in Toronto. And they hired a marketing consultant to help grow their gym. And the marketing consultant turned it into a multi-million-dollar small personal training studio. This is a number of years ago. It's like early 2000s, I think this was. So before the days of, every marketing consultant now was like, I'm just going to do short form videos, question mark, profit. There wasn't any desire there. And I think, part of when you hire a marketing consultant now, you almost like expect them to do social media, whereas most of them probably shouldn't. But it's kind of this hard thing because you wouldn't hire them if they didn't say that they did social media, but they probably shouldn't do social media to actually get you customers. And so, from their standpoint, what do they build their business on? Anyway, this is 2004. So this is before any of this nonsense that largely doesn't work came into play. And so that's just my opinion. And so what Bodies by Design did is they realized that the people who are already members of their gym buy other stuff too that has to do with health and fitness. Generally, somebody who invests into health and fitness, who invests into something, self-identifies as somebody who does this type of thing, who lives a healthy lifestyle, whatever it is. And so as a result, they invest money in other types of businesses that are complementary. And so what this consultant did is he worked backwards. And I don't actually know if he asked the customers or not, but he worked backwards and he basically said, like, what are the other categories of businesses in this neighborhood that customers of ours probably also frequent? Spas, massage therapists, physio clinics, chiropractors, healthy food, eateries, that type of thing. It wasn't a long list. It was 6 or 7 things. And then what he did is he sent out a survey to all of the members. And he said, I want to get you all discounts for a lot of neighboring businesses. In order to do that, I need to know what your favorite ones are. And so please tell me. And he basically so a survey where somebody can enter in the blanks is kind of tough. But what he did is he basically just said, okay, there's 6 spas in the local area. I know that one of them is going to be the favorite. So he just wrote down the 6 names of the 6 spas on the thing. And he handed out the survey to all of the members and they filled it in. And what he came out of that with was what the members' favorite store in each category was. So Bodies by Design's members' favorite spa is whatever, Mary's Spa. Their favorite masseuse is Jennifer. Their favorite whatever is whoever, right? And then he went and called this person. And he said, hey, Mary, my name's so-and-so. I'm from Bodies by Design. We're the gym down the street. Not sure if you've seen us. Look, we just did a survey of all of our members, and I wanted to tell you that you actually came up as the favorite spa of our members of the gym. What we're doing is I'm actually putting together a booklet recommending all of the favorite spots in the neighborhood, and there's going to be one from each category. So there's only going to be one spot. I was hoping that you'd be able to put some sort of introductory discount together or coupon or something so that more of our members can try you out. I'd love to send more business to you, I think was the line that he said. So give before you get. So we opened the conversation with, I want to send more business to you. He didn't say send me your business. He said, I want to send more business to you. They would give him an introductory offer because basically all of them had that anyway. So they'd give him an introductory offer. And he put together a booklet, and I think it was literally called like Our Favorite Things. And it was a coupon book that he distributed to all of the members. So that's cool. So that's a great way to get to know and ingratiate yourself to other local businesses. So give before you get. But then he went to those same businesses and he said, hey, can I write a letter or an email, whatever, for you to send out to your customers? And I'll write it. You don't need to do anything. And I want to give them $100 towards our services. And so the framing of this is very important, right? Not a free week, not a free session. I want to give them a $100 gift card to come in. Because then, whatever like a free session is or whatever an introductory package is, you're giving them that dollar amount because that maintains the value of the service. And you say a maximum of 3 per person. And you say a maximum of 3 because then everybody gets 3 and uses 3. And when you say a maximum of 3, it's like there's value in that. So you say a maximum of 3 per person. Hey, bring in your friend. And the letter basically said, hey, we already know a lot of you love Bodies by Design. What was the name of the owner? I can't remember. I'm going to say his name was Paul, which is shitty because I know him and I should remember his name. But Paul wants to pay for your first 3 sessions or for your first session or for your first month or whatever it is. Here's a $100 gift card. And there's 2 more gift cards that he's included as well for your friends and family to bring with. You've got to use this by X date. That was it. That was all they did to turn this, not fledgling, but like to turn this gym that was just like a basically okay personal training studio into a multi-million-dollar personal training studio. Because when you do this, right, you're promoting all the other complementary businesses, which is wonderful, but they're only getting promoted once, whereas you are getting promoted by all of them at once. And there's a network effect in that. Now you become the obvious choice in that neighborhood because now the top spa, the top masseuse, the top chiro, the top physio probably has the same customers in a bunch of them. And they're getting all of these messages basically saying, a lot of you already love this place. So we want to send more people. So give before you get. We want to send more customers to you. Make it easy for the owner of the company. You got to write the letter. You got to make this all happen. They're not going to do anything. Okay? And number 3, make it compelling for their customers. Beautiful. Okay? Complementary businesses. And so you could do that online too. But you just need to make sure that it's a tight network. Where this really begins to explode is when the same person is potentially getting messaged by multiple people. For example, when I did affiliate promotions for the Online Trainer Academy, we had other people who promoted our program. And I offered it to people. It wasn't an open program. I offered it to people to promote the Online Trainer Academy. And what I did specifically is I worked backwards and I said, who are the really notable experts in our field that the type of person who the Online Trainer Academy is right for, listen to and admire? And they all, so like it was Eric Cressy, Sohee Lee, Jordan Syatt, who else? Paula Quinn, Thibodeau. I don't know, there's 6 or 7 of them. But they were all promoting the Online Trainer Academy at the same time. Now, people, if somebody inside that circle, like if you know one of those names, you know multiple of those names. Mm-hmm. If you don't know any of those names, you know none of those names. So somebody outside of that circle would never see it, but somebody inside of that circle, there's an everywhere effect, which compounds upon itself. And they're like, everybody who I respect, everybody who I love, who I've done business with, all say that this is the guy. It's a lot more powerful than one person promoting something one time. So if you're doing this online, it's harder for sure, but you need to try to figure out very specific networks. So that's how you generate referrals via complementary businesses. Number 2 is through existing customers. Now, existing customers, the way to generate referrals is to make them the all-star, is to improve their self-worth, is to celebrate them for who they are and the amazing things that they've overcome and that they've achieved publicly, and to give them a tool to do that. I'll give you an example. Mike Dola, Stronger You. He sold it for 8 figures, retired in his 30s. Now we just write stuff on the internet. Joking. I love Mike. Mike and I co-wrote a book called The Wealthy Fit Pro's Guide to Getting Clients and Referrals, which you can get on Amazon. So I love the guy. But not the only reason, all of this is still contingent upon you doing a good job, of course. Not the only reason that his company blew up, but one of the major things that he did that generated ongoing tons of customers is that he bought his clients a gift card. What? John, you said don't buy gift cards. What are you talking about? Well, it's a matter of how the gift card is communicated. And so instead of saying to his members, to his clients, hey, send me another person and I'll give you a gift card. Instead, what he did is he would send his clients a gift card to their favorite clothing store to buy new clothes after they lost weight. Now, his was a weight loss service. After they lost weight, to buy new clothes. And then he would encourage them to post a picture in the store buying new clothes to celebrate their transformation. Brilliant. Rachel Cosgrove did something like that too. Rachel's brilliant if you've ever come across her stuff. She had a program. I can't remember the specifics of it, but the nuts and bolts was that she actually had everybody who did this transformation challenge that she did, she had them buy jeans a few sizes smaller before the challenge started. And then she hosted a party at the end of it where everybody put on their new jeans at the end. And they all took pictures and posted it online. Because what happens then is these people are taking pictures in the store buying new clothes or at this party, with these jeans on that they bought. And their friends and family are congratulating them and then sending them a message and saying, hey, awesome, you lost the weight. What have you been doing? Now Mike gets the recommendation, the referral. And he gets it because he makes them feel incredible. He improves. You see what I mean when I say that it is a social transaction. He improves their social self-worth. And as a result, then, publicly, other people are going and saying, what have you been doing? That looks incredible, because now they're so happy to share it publicly, and he's given them the tools to do that. And of course, Mike gets mentioned. Way different conversation, isn't it? So that's one example, but there's lots of examples where you can do something very, very similar. It's all contingent upon your client is the all-star. Give them a way to celebrate publicly how awesome that they are. And people will ask them what they're doing. They don't need to have followings. They don't need to be influencers. Everybody has friends and family members. Local community, next. Local community is interesting to me, like getting referrals from local community. Because for some reason, we trust what our neighbors buy and do, even if we don't know who our neighbors are, and even if we don't know if our neighbors are actually buying or doing that thing. We don't ask them, for the most part. We just assume that if there is a service that people are using in the community, then it must be good because our neighbors have chosen to live where we live. And there's a bond and there's a trust in that. Naturally, that is one of the deepest pieces of just evolutionary, I don't even know what the word is. What's the word I'm looking for here?
It's tribal.
It's tribal. That's a good word for it. It's so tribal. The people who we live close to we trust, even if we don't know them. Because we've chosen to grow our families in the same areas, haven't we? Mm-hmm. So I talk about the meat truck guy. I've spoken about him a few times. This could be as simple a personal favorite. This could be as simple as parking a van on a street. Like if you know that there is a community of wealthy people that can afford your services, you don't actually have to be selling to that community yet. You could literally just go and park a branded van on the street and move that van around the neighborhood every day or every few days. And what that does is it makes it look like a lot of people in that neighborhood are buying the service, doesn't it? And so you could do this with a meat truck. You could do this with a car that's branded for personal training. And then once you get hired by a single person in the neighborhood, so you could knock on doors, you could put flyers up, right? You could do any of those things in addition to it, and you probably should. But once you get hired by a single person, what you then do is you then start sending out mailings. And again, when I say sending out mailings, you could literally just walk around and put a flyer in a mailbox or hire a kid to. Doesn't matter what it is. But it could say something like, hey, my name's John. I'm a personal trainer. Look, I'm training some of your neighbors, and it's actually easier and I save money when I work with more people in the same neighborhood, because then I have fewer breaks and I need to move around less. So I wanted to pass around that discount to you. So if you're looking to get more fit, lose fat, whatever the thing is that you do, buy more meat, if you're looking for somebody to mow your lawn, whatever the thing is, here's a coupon that you can use, but it's only valid until next week because, I kind of need to know what I'm doing. And because you need to have some time urgency. It's what's called lift. The response rate of any kind of an advertisement or a flyer or a mailing or anything that you do is going to be way higher because of that kind of community and trust as a result. So getting referrals in your local community doesn't actually take anybody in your local community, like any houses, to tell other people about you necessarily. It could actually be built based off of what's called familiarity. So basically, trust is built largely based off of affinity and familiarity. I talk about that a lot in the Obvious Choice book, and some of these examples are from there. But this is what's called familiarity. It's a large way to build trust, and familiarity is based off of assumed usage of services by other people who we have reason to trust, largely for like illogical reasons often. We don't actually know if they're doing the thing or not doing the thing. So that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is the example of the sports camp, which we spoke about on a previous podcast. And Amber and I kind of agreed. It's like kind of one of those things where you look at it and you're just like, you savvy bastards, but also like kind of annoying, but also not annoying enough that you're going to do anything about it. So here's what happened. My son went to a summer camp for 1 week last summer, and he won the community award at that camp. And before you get impressed that my son is like a great kid, I mean, I think he is, but every kid at the camp every week wins an award. So he came home and he had a certificate that said Super Fun Sports Camp. I'm going to change the name for privacy reasons. Super Fun Sports Camp. Calvin Goodman, winner of the community award week of whatever, August 7th. Okay, great. Like, he took a picture with it. He was super proud. We sent it to my parents, but we didn't tell anybody else about it. The next morning I wake up and I see a sign on our lawn. And the sign is a sign that said I can't remember the exact words, but it was something like, my son just won the community award at Super Fun Sports Camp. So smart. Savvy bastards. I bet you what they do every single week is every kid who wants every award, they put a sign on that parent's lawn. You're not taking down that sign. The minute Calvin sees that sign, he's not letting you take that shit down. And so we left it up for, I don't know, a week, 2 weeks. I don't know how long we left it up, but we left it up for like long enough for our neighbors to see it. Well, now neighbors know that we sent our kid to that camp. And across the street, David and Rachel live across the street, have 2 kids, but one of the kids is about the same age as Calvin. And they asked us, they're like, hey, how did Calvin like that camp? We're like, yeah, he liked it. He had a good time. They sent their kid to that camp the next week. It's so simple, isn't it? You need to figure out a way to make your customers feel like they look good publicly. Other folks.
Can I add
yes.
nuance to something really
Go
quick?
for it.
So with the flyers thing, in the US, that would be illegal. You can't put anything in a mailbox or affix to a mailbox. So just check for legal things around that stuff. Yeah, it's a big deal. You can't put things in people's mailboxes or in their newspaper box or anything.
But you can put it on
that.
their door, no?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll check wherever you're at.
I'm not sure.
In Canada, you can.
Yeah, just.
I mean, some people have a sign on their mailbox that says "Don't do it," but either way, so put it on lampposts, put it on signage boards in the community.
Yeah, just to add, because I know someone's going to say it's illegal to do that. So yes, we know.
Very cool. Well, thank you for that. Put it on. Check your local laws.
Yes,
put it on.
always.
Put it in coffee shop. Signboards, whatever. The point is familiarity in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what else I was going to say on local community on the sports camp thing. No, it's fine. Wasn't that important. I made all the points that I wanted to. The final one is associations, trusted affiliations. This goes down into trust as well. I mean, really, like referrals are a transference of trust. We had a conversation actually in the online trainer mentorship last week about this. It was a really interesting conversation. It was on one of the hot seats. So it'll probably be posted here on this podcast at one point. But it was a conversation that I have often with people that are looking to scale. And they always come with the worry of, but people are signing up for me. So if I'm not the one providing the service, if I hire other staff to coach them, will they see less value? Will they not sign up? And there's all these worries. And whenever they do that, I kind of stop them and I say, well, did I speak to you when you signed up for this mentorship? Like, did you talk to me on any of the calls, on any of the sales calls? They're like, no. I was like, have you spoken to me until right now? Once as part of this mentorship. And they said, and they kind of laughed. They're just like, no. I was like, when you have phenomenal staff, when you have phenomenal teammates working with you on this thing, really, and you build a system that really takes care of people, most don't even notice until you point it out. But what you're really doing when you're the owner of a company is you're transferring trust. It's not that they're coming for you. It's that they're coming because they trust you. There's a major difference there. And when people make a referral, what they're doing is they're transferring their trust to your company. And so it all comes down to trust. And like I said, trust is based off of familiarity and affinity. So we already spoke about familiarity. Affinity is big. We all have things that are deeper than us, that are bigger than us, that are important to us. For many of us, it's our faith, it's our religion. For some of us, it's our sports teams, which is a different kind of religion. It could be a lot of different things. It could be our communities that we exist within. It could be Karina Inkster, who I love. She plays not the bagpipes. What's the thing with the keys?
The accordion.
She plays the accordion. Like her music community is huge, right? And I haven't spoken to her specifically about this, but I would be willing to bet that people within that community that play weird fucking instruments really, really like and trust one another. Because it's like that's what's unique and special to you, and that's what you do in your spare time. And so you feel affinity towards those people, where a recommendation from them, we have this weird thing. I talk about this in the Obvious Choice book a lot. We have this weird thing where we trust people who we know or who we think that we believe based off of familiarity, based off of affinity, based off of a couple other things that I talk about in the book. We trust their word and their opinions more than we trust a legitimate expert in that field who we don't know.
Hey, you play accordion. Can you take a look at this mole on my neck? See if that's cancer.
Yo, but like, kind of,
Hey,
right?
it's the truth.
It's not wrong, is it?
It should be wrong, but it's not.
It's idiotically stupid. But like, not wrong. I mean, think about who you take opinions from. You're going to take an opinion to go see a movie from your dumb shit friend that you smoked weed with in high school over an actual movie expert.
100%.
I mean, and I think, I mean, I make fun of it. A lot of it is stupid. But a lot of it is actually pretty smart. You know, these people share some interests with us. So we assume that they're similar to us in some ways. The actual best of something doesn't really matter for most of us. What matters is that it's something that we will probably uniquely like. And so it's not complete. I mean, like a mole, like having to look at a mole. Yeah, sure. That's something that you should probably get like an actual doctor to look at. But you don't need to go very far to look at how many people play doctor online on long form podcasts where it's like health and fitness is so absurdly simple. You can probably cover everything you need to know in a single 3-hour podcast. But then you build a medium where the incentives are so comically skewed for the type of information that you're giving out that in order to profit from the media that you are putting out, you have to create a few episodes a week. In order to create a few episodes a week, you need to make inconsequential, small things seem much more important and much more complicated and much more divisive than they actually are. And the end result, not because of how intelligent the host of the podcast is, but because what they've done is they've chosen to deliver their content through a medium that has really skewed incentive structures for the type of information that they need to provide. It's a serious problem that's only getting worse. When it comes down to getting referrals, though, through associations, through affiliation, again, it comes down to trust. And we trust people who are in affiliations to us. So the example that I give you in the book on this is Ted, who's my investment advisor. I've given Ted hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's responsible for my entire family's wealth. He's a pretty important person in my life. He controls all of my kids' education accounts. He controls my retirement accounts. He controls all of our money and our life insurance, actually. I mean, like, I could give opinions on it and I could take it over, obviously, at any point. My point is, he's a very important person in my life. Well, how did I find this guy? He sits on the board of the synagogue that I used to go to. Okay, I have not been to that synagogue in 25 years. Basically since my bar mitzvah. Maybe 23 years. I haven't been to that synagogue. But my dad was on the board of the synagogue alongside him. My dad's wealth advisor was retiring. He needed a new one. He hired Ted because Ted was on the board of the synagogue. And he tested him out with a small amount of money, and Ted did a good job and was responsible and great to work with. And again, if you're bad at what you do, it doesn't matter. But Ted proved himself, and so my dad invested with him, and then my dad recommended it to me and like 6 or 7 other people. And I mean, I had a friend 2 days ago, runs a huge company, runs like $200-300 million company. He's got tens of millions of dollars to invest. Asked me if I had a recommendation to a wealth advisor, and I made an introduction to Ted. Don't know for sure if he's going to work with him or not, but this guy in fees alone will pay Ted over $100,000 a year if he works with him. second-order consequences of Ted sitting on the board of the goddamn synagogue.
Oh.
That's how this stuff works. That's how this stuff always works. I mean, also, if you want to, having a Jew manage your money is probably not a bad idea. But
here we go.
Well, I told you the conversation that I had with Adam Bornstein, who runs all of like Schwarzenegger's media, about how the supplement brand that Arnold Schwarzenegger and LeBron James put together, like how that came about. And he's like they share a money manager, like that's how they got to know one another. And I just looked at him and laughed, and I was like, blink once if he's Jewish. Blink
so awesome.
Twice if his name starts with gold.
I was here for that. And that was awesome.
Oh my God, it was funny.
I had to contain myself.
Not a bad idea. But whatever you do, it's actually Ted cares about his faith. Like, he doesn't sit on the board of the synagogue to get clients for his wealth management company. But like, also, you know what I'm saying? Not a bad idea. like not a bad idea. And so whatever you're really passionate about, can you become a major part of an affiliation associated with that? Luai Ghaffari, who is the guy who I hired as my urban vegetable gardening coach, organizes community cleanups.
Greatest title a man can have, by the way.
Amazing. Organizes community gardens, and volunteers his time with community farms. Right? Like, that's what he wants to do with his spare time, but also that's like a lot of his content.
Right.
But it's a way better use of time doing something like that than it is dancing like a monkey on the internet to the anonymous masses, hoping that somebody one day pays attention to you, and that attention magically turns into business somehow.
I'm going to change my USP to urgent vegetable garden coach. See how the population responds. See if the sales go up. Hey, you know, Ren's an urban vegetable garden coach now. Yeah. It's twice the rates.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Rates are going up due to carrots.
Due to carrots. That's what I wanted to say about referrals. It's a social transaction. It's not an economic one. And there's 4 places where you can get them, right? We think about referrals. We often think only about getting it from existing customers, but complementary businesses, existing customers, local community, and then basically different associations. It's largely based off of trust. Trust is contingent upon what's called familiarity and affiliation. And then the final piece of it is, the better you can make somebody feel like they look publicly, the better chance that they're going to share what they're proud of. And so the best way to generate referrals, particularly amongst your customers, is to give them a tool to do that. And other folks will ask how they achieved what they achieved. Like, it should not be hard to find somebody who wants to lose weight. It should not be hard to find somebody who wants to put on muscle. It's a matter of trust that you're the person to do it. And that trust is better transferred from somebody that they have familiarity towards or affinity towards than it is you trying to create that magically by pointing at fucking words in space on the internet. Okay, let's recommend another episode and then get out of here. What are we thinking? Let's do this. Let's do Letting Your Geek Flag Fly. I like that episode. So check out this episode right now, episode 153, Letting Your Geek Flag Fly. This is just about how to stand out, how to be different, how to be okay, because the problem is not being authentic. The problem is trusting that our authentic self is enough. And that's a really hard problem to overcome. So talk about that, give you some tactical and practical strategies for that in episode 153. And before I go, just a request. I'm told that 5-star reviews on Spotify make a big impact. And I figured out how to do them. Okay? So, if you're either on your phone or on your computer and you're listening to Spotify, before you go, I have a favor to ask you, and I really appreciate you doing this right away. Beside the following button, there are 3 dots. If you click on those 3 dots, it should give you an option to review the show. Just click 5 stars. You're done. That's all. Takes you 2 seconds. We really, really appreciate it. We take hours a week putting these together, and we enjoy it. It's fun, especially because Ren's hilarious. But it's also a lot of work, and I want to be able to continue to do this for you for years to come. And those reviews will help. So thank you so much. Hope that this helped, and hope you're doing good. Bye-bye.
Good job, John.